Hello everyone, welcome to another X-Wing video from Dice Hate Productions. I'm gonna go through the new article called Hit and Run from Fantasy Flight Games, covering the Scyks from the C-ROC expansion. So without further ado, we will get right into it. The first pilot we're going to talk about is Sunny Bounder, a new PS1 Scyk pilot, which I'm pretty excited about, lowering that pilot skill to give us a really good blocker for the Scum faction. I think this takes over from the Banari Pirate as the best blocker in the faction now, especially because you can obviously put the Light Seek title onto it, which we discussed in a previous video, which reduced the cost of the hull down to 12 points. So pilot skill 1 with 2 attack dice, 3 agility, 2 hull and 1 shield for 14 points, and then the ability reads once per round after you roll or re-roll dice. If you have the same result on each of your dice, you may add 1 matching result. So it talks about it in the article, which I'm going to link in the description, but you basically get to have a multiplicative effect on your dice rolls. So if you roll your 2 attack dice and you get 2 hits, it becomes 3 hits. If you get 2 blanks, or 3 blanks, sorry, on your evades, it will become 4 blanks, which is awesome, but you still die. So yeah, it synergizes well with anything that gives you rerolls. So offensively, obviously target locks, if you're flying along with Sirasu, it doesn't really matter. You're not going to be re-rolling multiple defense die. So defensively, you're relying on getting the symbols still, but it does give you the ability to get multiple and extra evade if you get all evades. But you know, I think it's going to be more of an offensive tool, and in honesty, I wouldn't be fielding this this woman, I think it was, from one of the FFG role-playing games, I believe. So they're including their own characters from role-playing games into X-Wing now, which is another interesting facet of the game. So now we have, you're just going to take her to be a blocker, basically. That's the best role. I would probably look at sticking the Light Seek title on. They do talk about it in the article, how it's actually more efficient for proccing the ability to have less attack dice. So just having it in there as an annoyance for 12 points, I think she's the best blocker that Scum have access to now. Doesn't have as much in the toolbox as a quad jumper would for blocking, but still really interesting. Then the next one is apparently the leader of the Tansari Point veterans. I never actually played the Star Wars Galaxies game, where I believe the fight for Tansari Point Station actually came in, and that's where all of the Scyk and everything comes from. But I believe that this person, according to the article anyway, is the leader of the Tansari Point Tansari Point Defense Force. She is power skill 3 with 2 attacks, 3 extends that line, you guys know that by now, 15 points. When attacking or defending, you may spend 1 shield to reroll any number of your dice. So with 2 hull and 1 shield, spending that shield for a one-off game effect seems pretty high risk, high reward. But with the pilot skill, I think obviously this works better at the lower pilot skill when you're attacking anyway. If you're going defensively, if you're going to die because you got a terrible evade result, spend the shield, see if you can stay alive anyway. But it's one of those abilities which may see play. We'll get to an upgrade card later that is obviously intended to work well with this card, but I'm not 100% sold on it just yet. I think the playstyle that you'll need to get the most out of this ship and this ability doesn't really exist yet with the Scum. The dial isn't quite there. Not having that big 3 hard turn on the Scyk dial hurts it for those big flanking maneuvers. And what we talk about in the article, trying to punch through the engagements, flying it like you would the Interceptor. What else do I fly in that way? I used to fly defenders like that. Now with X7 you can be a little bit more aggressive and keep them in the fight, but that's how I used to fly defenders prefix, so how I would still fly TIE Ds. But you go in, do as much damage as you can and get out. So She's okay. I think we need to look at some of the other upgrades before we can really look at her as a full package. Then we have one of my more interesting ones for me anyway. Quinn Jast is Pilot Skill 6 for 18 points. Still has the EPT, and at the start of a combat phase, you may receive a weapons disabled token to flip one of your discarded torpedo or missile upgrade cards face up. So, potential for multiple advanced proton torpedo shots. Anyone who watches this channel and hears me talk about different things, I'm always looking for a way to make advanced protons a fun and more usable card. And this guy isn't it, let's be honest. 26 points for him with advanced protons is probably not going to cut it. But you have to consider, if you're going to be using his ability, he's going to be on a heavy Scyk platform, which does give him the extra hull. So he has 4 hit points in total. Then you get to go in, fire off your alpha. I'd probably be more tempted to go with something like Deadeye with concussion missiles and guidance chips, or homing missiles with maybe crack shot for the EPT if I was going homing, and just really keep him as a flanker. I've gone with this hand. Keep him as a flanker and try and swing into engagement. Stay on the outside. You want to be clipping people right on the edge of those arcs at range 3. You never want to have him fully in the engagement because you won't have to receive a weapons disabled token. He's going to be in and out of a combat anyway, like a Corran Horn. That's a better example of what I was talking about earlier when I used to fly Corran, or anyone who flies Corran knows this playstyle. So you're going to be cutting out of the fight and coming back around, and if you can keep catching people at that extreme range, you can get a lot of value out of this guy. And the ordnance is more pure dice wise, you will get better value out of the ordnance and the cannon if you were firing them an equal number of times. So I think this has got a lot of play. And then final pilot that they revealed, I'll have to check the spread picture, but I think this is going to be the last pilot that would fit with the Raider. I think we got 4 named pilots for the TIE Advanced, but this is Genesis Red. It's Pilot Skill 7 and 19 points with an EPT, and after you acquire a target lock, assign focus and evade tokens to your ship until you have the same number of each token as a locked ship. So this is an interesting ability. I like it purely against specific builds. It does talk about defenders. You can token stack yourself, and against defenders, because they normally come in at less than Pilot Skill 7, it's really advantageous. If you're flying this guy and you're going against Fel and Vader, whoop-de-doo, you're going to move first, and they're not going to have any tokens for you to stack up on. So you really need to do the pilot skill bit on him. I think the only viable EPT would be VI to give you an all-comers way of flying him, because he needs to be moving last. If the ships that you're flying against haven't actually taken any actions, they have no tokens, so your pilot ability is useless, and in that case you were probably better off going with Sirasu instead. So I think is interesting, but it's very meta dependent, and currently, well, in the previous meta, because we don't know what the current meta is after the FAQ, he would have been good against defenders in the way that any Scyk could be good against defenders. But we'll wait and see on this guy. So I think definitely my pick of the pilots would be Quinn Jast if you want to try and kill stuff. And Sunny Bounder is a big winner for me. I really like this pilot. Cheap, versatile, and has a really useful ability and the pilot skill to do what I want to do. Then we go, oh, I jumped ahead. Yeah, punctuate shielding. So this one is Rebel and Scum only modification. Sad times for the Imperials. We're not gonna see any first order TIE fighters with pulse ray shielding, because it would be broken as shit. But yeah, com relay in this would be broken, so rebel and scum only. During the end phase, you may receive 1 ion token and to recover 1 shield, up to your shield value. You can equip this card if your shield value is 1. So 2 points, you can only have a shield value of 1, so that is Hawks, Star Vipers, and Scyks. Trying to think of another rebel ship with only 1 shield. It would just be the Hawk, I think. I'm sure someone will correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But it's got the potential, obviously the cheapest regen on the market, I believe, with along with Gonk. So Scum have got access to regen now. I don't think it's as toxic as Rebel regen has the potential to be, because it is capped at only ever regening 1 shield at a time. So you're never leaving the area of being one-shottable. But I really think it's really strong if you can play around this ion token. If you're receiving the ion token, you're doing a 1 forwards in the next move, which is fine. Normally some of the ships might not have a 1 forwards or have C-ROC fire. There we go. That's the other one. You can do that 1 forwards, and it's a way of staying slow rolling in the fight, but you become really predictable, really easy to block. You're telegraphing your positioning, and it's going to be hard. I'm not 100% sold on how it's going to function on the table. I'll need to see it. Excuse me. Pardon me. It's early morning tea and toast, so fun times. I do like waking up to the articles already being on the website, though. It makes it a lot easier for me to just get into a video straight away rather than having to keep clicking refresh. But yeah, as I was saying, we have a decent regen for Scum now. Goes across ships, so it's not relying on the crew slot that Gonk needs. But with 2 points and the cap of only ever being able to regen 1 shield, it doesn't quite max out. But as we've shown with any regen, it only needs to trigger a couple of times to be useful to get its points back. And in that kind of mathematical system, I do think that it's a good card. Will be of benefit if the platform it's on is going to add anything to your list. So things like Sunny Binder, probably not. You want to keep the ship cheap. Speaking is good. And we get to like a Talonbane. Maybe you want to put him on a Talonbane if you're happy to not have the engine upgrade on Talonbane. Yeah, throw this guy on there, and your Talonbane Cobra can regen a shield every round. I think the higher level Scyks could benefit from this card when you start getting the ability to stack and evade as well. For the Star Viper, I think the Star Viper's biggest asset is its maneuverability. In up close in the knife fight, it has a 1 forwards anyway, but being able to get that shield back without the evade token, I still don't think this is worth it. I think its biggest advocate for putting this on will be the higher level Scyk pilots, anyone who's going to be loading up those Scyks. So if you play Mangler Scyks, this could be a good modification to put on there. It's cheaper than a hull upgrade, which is how I was running them previously, and if you can trigger it once, it's just as effective and was cheaper. So I think there's definitely value, but not necessarily the easiest card to get maximum potential out of. Then we have a new cannon, and I was really excited. A cannon that costs less than 3 points. I was trying to pump out some TIE D builds, and then I read the card and was sad again. More Rebel and Scum only, so no Vessery with Arc Casters. And it is a 4 dice attack at range 1 only, cannon upgrade for 2 points. It reads Rebel and Scum only. It is a dual card, and it has attack. Attack 1 ship. If this attack hits, you must choose 1 other ship at range 1 of the defender to suffer 1 damage. So I do believe that the other ship precludes picking yourself, so you are safe from your own arc caster, I believe, because other wouldn't be referencing the target, it would be referencing the ship that it's on in the same way that you references the ship. So I believe it would trigger, or you wouldn't hit yourself, but I might be wrong. It's probably going to need to be FAQ'd, because if you are the only other ship at range 1 of the attacker, you might be blowing yourself up, but it's a chance you take. You know, it's a 4 dice attack. So let's get into the actual flip side of it. So it does recharge basically, and it goes along with, you take a weapon disable token and you get to flip the card over. So it's similar to playstyle or encouraging with a pulse ray shielding and these guys who want to break off from the fight. So it seems like they're trying to encourage that Corran Horn playstyle from these Scyks, which if you can pull it off will be really good, but they don't have the 5 hit points of Corran. They'd only have the 4 with 1 shield, so it's not too far off Corran Horn, but I think the reason Corran benefits so much from that playstyle is because he can regen up to the 3 shields, whereas in these guys are always only going to be able to regen the 1, so the maximum regained health isn't quite the same. So it'll be interesting to see how it works. For the cannon itself, obviously it's good if you are going to go down some form of anti-explodey death type build, so something with ruthlessness maybe. Is ruthlessness Imperial only? I can't remember now. But just doing that scattering shot, trying to hit other ships, there's definitely the potential to get more value out of it. B-Wings aren't really going to take it, because why would you? It's definitely pretty, almost certainly going to restrict itself to scum only, because I don't think you're going to put it on the rebel ships that can take it. I think that the Ark is definitely the best ship to put it on. It doesn't replace your primary, so if you're in the fight you can blast this one off and then keep chipping away with your 2 dice primary until such a time that you need to break off, you don't have a shot, then you take the token. So I think it's a really good card. I'm sad that you can't take it on defenders. I would have liked to see it. I don't know exactly how, no, I do know exactly how bad it would have been. Vessery with ruthlessness and this thing would have been really scary if he ever got to fire it. There we go. I think that's about everything new from the article. Give me your thoughts on the different upgrades, different ships. So I think the big winners are, I really like Sunny Bounder. She's going to be in a couple of lists I try. I don't know if I'm going to mess around too much with my current scum area control list, but she definitely feels like she has a place in that type of build. I don't know if I would drop my quad jumper, which I'm currently running, but maybe able to replace something else and get maybe 5 ships into that list now. That will be really interesting to see. Ones I'm gonna commit to being bad. I don't think Genesis Red is going to see play. I think that if it had been at Power Skill 9 natively, he could have seen play. At 7, I think that the usefulness of the ability isn't quite there against a majority of the things we're going to, pardon me again, see in the upcoming meta. So I think he's probably not going to see much play. Pulse Ray Shielding, it's probably the one I'm going to sit on the fence of. I will say that I don't think it does anything for a Star Viper. Not having the evade, I think you need, so that's what we'll do. We'll say it's really good if you can stack the evade action with it, and then you're effectively mitigating 2 damage per round with your shield. So if you can do that, it's pretty decent. Only take it on a heavy Scyk, it's not worth it on the light Scyk, so that's my call on that one. And then the Arc Caster is fun. It's 4 dice primary, a 4 dice attack at range 1, so it basically makes you a normal ship at range 1 with splash damage. So okay, but I don't know that it will be overly useful outside of the M3A. And that's it, guys. That is the C-ROC Scyks. So thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to build up to 1,500 subscribers so I can do my next giveaway. It's going to be the Star Wars Destiny Kylo Ren starter set once we get to 1,500 subscribers. I know a few people have been clamoring for more Destiny videos and content, so I'll get to that when I can. Trying to build through the next podcast episode, so I've got a few more videos that me and Luke recorded, so hopefully you are enjoying that content. And yeah, make sure you keep responding. I've had a few messages on Facebook, so you can find Dice Hate there. The Discord server is picking up again, so we've had different conversations about the different things on there. It's a really interesting place if you just want to drop in and be able to ask X-Wing related questions. And yeah, everything seems to be going well, so thanks everyone, and we'll chat again soon.